Good morning, my dear students. We are studying chapter number 2, which is Gauss's law and its applications, in which we have studied Gauss's law and its applications. Now we study a new topic, which is force on the surface of charged conductor. Here we take a conductor. So suppose we have a conductor like this. This is uniformly charged by plus Q charge. Then this charge is uniformly distributed on this external surface like this. Then in these charges a small charge experience a repulsive force by these another charges. Okay, so we can say that this element of surface experiences a repulsive force by these rest parts of the surface area. Okay, this force we determine, and the resultant force on this surface area per unit area is called electric pressure. So firstly we determine this electric force on this surface, otherwise we can say charge conductor. Okay, so the charge provided to a conductor is uniformly distributed on the external surface of the conductor. Then a repulsive force acts due to the other rest parts on one part of the surface. Therefore a resultant force is produced on the surface of a whole conductor. This resultant force per unit area is called electric pressure. Firstly, we find force, repulsive force. For this, let us consider ABC is the uniformly charged surface. Okay, suppose this is a uniformly charged spherical surface. It means sphere. Okay, uniformly charged by plus Q charge. Then surface charge density of this conductor is sigma. Okay, now name is this conductor is ABC. Now we assume 2 points P1 and P2. This is P2. Point P1 and P2, which are located very close to this surface at outside and at inside of the surface. Here at outside point P1 is placed and inside point P2 is placed. These points are located very close to this surface. Okay, we can say that the electric field on this point P1 is equal to the electric field on the surface. Okay, now intensity of electric field at this outer point P1. We know that electric field intensity outer point of a charged conductor is equals to sigma over epsilon naught. Here sigma is surface charge density and epsilon naught permittivity of a vacuum. Okay, Here we can say that electric field intensity at point P, which is located at outside of the sphere, at P, which is denoted by EP1, is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. This equation number 1. And we know that electric field intensity inside the sphere, inside the charge conductor, is equals to 0, because of inside the charge conductor charge is 0, so electric field intensity is also 0. Okay, so electric field intensity at point P2, which is denoted by EP2, is equals to 0. Electric field intensity inside the conductor is 0, that is at point P2, EP2 is equals to 0. Okay, now we will divide this surface, total surface, into two parts. One is this element AB and another one is this remaining part ACB. Okay, so firstly we draw element AB like this, and some charges on this, suppose this is DQ, this AB, point P, and this is point P2, this is point P1 and P2, and remaining part of this surface like this, ACB, and remaining charge distributed to this remaining part ACB, and P1 and P2 are located like this. Okay, suppose electric field density due to this element AB at any point we denoted to this electric field intensity by E1 vector, and electric field intensity due to this ACB part at any point is represented by E2 vector. Okay, so for P1 and P2, due to this AB, electric field intensity due to AB, electric field intensity is represented by E1, and at point P also E1, but direction outward direction. Okay, because of we know that direction of electric field intensity due to a point charge is directed to perpendicular to the point, okay, in outward direction. So we represent the electric field direction of electric field intensity like as E1 vector, and this is E1 vector in this direction, and direction of electric field intensity due to ACB, here P1 and P2 is outside with respect to this part ACB. So direction of electric field intensity on both point in outward direction like this. Here we can see that clearly at point P1, resultant electric field intensity EP1 is equals to E1 plus E2, because of at P1 point electric field intensity due to both parts is equal in same direction, but at point P2 resultant electric field intensity at point P2, EP2 is equals to E1 minus E2 minus sign because of here for point P2 directions of electric field intensity due to both these parts is opposite. Okay, so we can say now we will divide the surface of conductor into two parts. One is element AB and another one is the remaining part ACB. Let electric field intensity due to element AB is E1 vector and due to ACB E2 vector. Therefore, for point P1, resultant electric field intensity for P1, EP1 is equals to E1 plus E2 because of E1 vector and E2 vector in same direction, and electric field intensity E1 vector by E2 vector and E2 vector are in opposite direction at P2. So resultant intensity of electric field at point P2 EP2 is equals to E1 minus E2. This equation number 4. Equation 2. Here equation 2 is represent the resultant electric field intensity at point P2, and equation number 4 is also represent the electric field intensity at point P2. So from equation 2 and 4 we can write E1 minus E2 is equals to 0. Put the value of EP2 in equation 1 in this equation 4. Then from this equation E1 is equals to E2. It means magnitude of electric field intensity due to element AB and remaining part ACB will be same. Okay, from equation 1 and 3, equation 1 is equals EP1 is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught, and equation number 3 EP1 is equals to E1 plus E2. So E1 plus E2 is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. From equation 5 we put E1 is equals to E2 or E2 is equals to E1. So we put E1 is equals to E2. So E2 plus E2 is equals to 2 is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. So 2 E2 is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. So E2 is equals to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. This equation is represent the electric field intensity due to ACB part. Okay. In this electric field, element AB is balanced. So force on this element AB, dF is equals to E2 into dQ. Here dQ is the charge on element AB. If total charge on element AB is dQ, then force on element AB is dF is equals to E2 into dQ. In chapter 1 we studied electric force on a charge which is placed in a electric field E. F is equals to Q into E. According to this equation, we write dF is equals to E2 into dQ. Okay. Since dQ is equals to sigma into ds, we know that surface charge density sigma is equals to dQ over ds. So dQ is equals to sigma into ds. dQ is the charge on element AB, sigma surface charge density, and ds surface area of element. So dF is equals to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. Put the value of E2 in this equation, which is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught into sigma into ds. Then we get dF is equals to sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught ds. In other form, since E is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught, So sigma is equals to E into epsilon naught. Put the value of sigma in here. Then we get df is equals to E square upon epsilon naught upon 2 into ds. Okay. This is the force acting on ds element, ds area. Then force acting whole surface of the conductor. Then integrated of this equation on both sides, then we get f is equals to surface integral sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught ds is equals to surface integral E square epsilon naught upon 2 ds. This is the force acting on whole surface of a charged conductor. By this equation, we write pressure on the surface, because of we know that force per unit area, acting force per unit area is called pressure. So pressure on the surface P is equals to, according to definition, dF upon ds. Put the value of dF in this equation, then we get P is equals to sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught is equals to E square into epsilon naught upon 2. This equation is represent the electric pressure. Okay, this is expression of force and pressure for a conductor. Okay, our next topic is energy per unit volume in a electric field. We know that very well, the electric force is directed normally outward on the surface of the charge conductor. If we have this charge conductor, this is a charge conductor, then a force acting on this surface area is directed to normally outward direction, like this. Okay. If the amount of charge, means Q, amount of charge is increased, then Q increase, then electric field intensity, because of E is equals to KQ over R square. If we increase in Q, then electric field intensity will be increased. If amount of charge on the surface is increased, or the volume of electric field intensity is increased, then an opposite work against this force, opposite work W against this force is done, and this force is stored as a energy in the electric field. Okay. To determine this electric energy, we suppose there is a uniformly charged spherical cell of radius small r. This is a uniformly charged spherical cell, and which radius is small r. This is a center of a spherical cell, uniformly charged by plus q charge. Then surface charge density of this conductor or spherical cell is sigma. Okay. Then by last expression, we know that force exerts on the spherical surface F is equals to surface integral sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught ds is equals to sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught surface integral ds. What is surface integral ds? Surface integral ds is equals to surface area of this spherical cell, and which is 4 pi r square, because of we know that surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. R is the radius of a sphere. So we put the value of surface area in this equation. Then F is equals to sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught 4 pi r square. This is which force which is exerted on this spherical surface. This is equation number 1. If the spherical shell is compressed from all around, this spherical shell is compressed from all around because of we increase the volume of electric field. So we compressed this spherical shell by dr distance. Okay, this distance dr. So now radius r minus dr. This is compression dr. Okay, then work done in this compression, work done is equals to force into displacement. Force against this electric force we can apply F. Then dw is equals to F into displacement dr. Put the value of F from equation 1. Then dw is equals to sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught 4 pi r square into dr. This is work done in this compression. Okay, so increase in volume of electric field due to compression. We know that volume is equals to area into length. Here area all around of this this spherical shell is 4 pi r square and distance dr, which is compressed by s dr. Thus dw is equals to, from this equation, this term 4 pi r square dr is equals to dv. So dw is equals to sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught dv. Therefore the energy stored in the entire electric field is equal to the total work done. We know that according to definition of energy work done, the energy stored in the electric field against the force is equal to the total work done against the force. So energy is equals to work done. Work done is equals to whole work done, total work done is integration of this equation. dw is equals to integration sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught dv. We know that electric field intensity at surface point of the conductor or spherical shell is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. So sigma is equals to E into epsilon naught. Put the value of sigma in this equation, then we get U is equals to E square epsilon naught square upon 2 epsilon naught dv. 1 epsilon naught to 1 epsilon naught cancel out, then we get total electric energy U is equals to integration E square epsilon naught upon 2 dv. This is the total energy in total volume V. But our heading is electric energy per unit volume in an electric field. So we determine energy per unit volume. So energy stored in unit volume of electric field, which is known as electric density. According to definition of electric density, we write UV. UV is the electric density or electric energy stored in unit volume. UV is equals to dW. This is dW upon dV. So this equation is divided by dV, then we get UV is equals to sigma square upon 2 epsilon naught is equals to, in other form, E square epsilon naught upon 2. Okay, this is the expression for total energy stored in unit volume of electric field. Okay, if medium is other than vacuum or air, then we can replace epsilon naught by epsilon. So uv is equals to 1 by 2 e square epsilon or sigma square upon 2 epsilon. This is for medium and this is for vacuum or air. Okay students, if you have any doubts about this chapter and previous chapter, then you can write your comment in comment box. Thank you.